All right, we have an early warning weather alert because of heavy rain and the possibility of some wind too. Let's take a look at the early warning pinpoint Doppler. It's really raining heavily across southeastern Connecticut. That's where the focus of the rain is right now. Where it has been raining continually, so much so that some rivers are actually starting to get close to flood stage, is in the Danbury-Brookfield area. The Still River is expected to go just above flood stage a little bit later on in the day, maybe around 1 this afternoon. And so there has been a consequence of the rain even really filling up the creeks and making some of them get close to flood stage, if not a little bit over. But where the rain is heaviest right now is actually across eastern Connecticut, where we see, for instance, in Norwich downtown, we're seeing some really heavy rains on Broadway, also on Spruce Street, on Boswell Avenue. And you can see out towards Bacchus Corner, there is a little bit of rain, but once you head just north of there along Route 32, it gets really wet. And then at Route 82, you go in towards Montville, you can see how we do have here some really heavy rains on Cherry Lane, for instance. It's really raining heavily, where the rain is probably over an inch an hour. And then to the west of New London, you see some of these rains as well. So we are expecting even here to see those rains maybe in upwards of an inch an hour or so. In the Hartford area, it's not raining quite as heavily, but we've had enough that we have a flood warning still until about 6:30 here in central Hartford County. And I think that sometimes we'll probably see over 2 inches of rain before all is said and done with this batch of rain. Here it is, feeding in from the south. It's all along a weather front that's essentially bisecting the state at this point. And so this front is helping to collect and transport this moisture in the form of showers, heavy downpours. And there has also been the concern, because there is still a little bit of turning in the low-level winds, that we might have some rotation and the creation of maybe a small isolated tornado. We haven't seen anything like that though yet. There were signs of that earlier on in areas to our south and to our west, but so far we've been in the clear. Any one of these downpours though, in and of itself, they could transport down by momentum some of that wind that's aloft. So when it starts to rain heavily, there might be a downpour or two to go along with that. I mean, there might be a downburst or a wind gust, maybe up to 40 miles an hour to go along with that. But so far, no major problems with any of those components to this whole thing. Once this thing shifts to the east and we lose the rain, though, there's going to be quite a gradient, and that's going to produce a lot of wind. Not a terrible amount of wind right now. It's breezy, but it's not awful. But our windcast does suggest as we go into the afternoon, I'll stop it at about 2 o'clock, the wind really does pick up. Sustained wind will probably be about 20 miles an hour, gusts 40 to 50, and that continues into the evening. I don't think the wind really relaxes until after midnight. So it's going to be a wet day today. We'll have temperatures. They're probably at about their maximum now, and then they'll sink back into the 50s this afternoon. The strong wind will replace the rain. Foliage, while the leaves are getting stripped off those trees as it's rainy and windy today. And then tonight, we are expecting to see that wind to die down, but for temperatures to fall as skies start to really clear out around here. In your early warning 7-day forecast, the other chore for tonight is if you have one of those manual clocks that you need to reset when the time changes, you got to do that tonight. But the only thing is if you forget, you're okay. You're just early to everything tomorrow because you have to set it back an hour. Then tomorrow we'll have a lot of sunshine, less wind. It's going to be the nicer of the 2 weekend days with highs in the 50s. Monday, though, the clouds return, so does the chance for rain by late in the day with highs in the 50s. Election day might be a little bit wet in the afternoon, but overall, nothing to keep you home. You should go out and vote on Election Day. We'll have another update in just a few minutes.